What is up, ladies and gents? It's your boy Lou Streets here, and I am back with another video. And in this video, I want to talk about 2 to 3 things, right? So the first thing that I want to talk about is, me, Mike Hollow, and MK Tom Brady have kind of had similar views on pretty much, how that Mortal Kombat 1 was rolled out, the updates and the disappointments with the updates going forward, and how the game got to a decent place, but we kind of always had this idea that the game wasn't up to par, and we all had it for different reasons. So it's not as if we all had the same point of view. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that Tom Brady said the MKX was peak. I believe that Mike Hollow might have felt the same way. Me, I lean more to Mortal Kombat 11 because I thought that was the overall best experience and just the best looking game. But overall, outside of that, the point was we kind of developed this identity as the hater trinity, right? Like, people considered us three to be haters. And it's funny because we didn't know each other before this game came out. We all kind of met like within the time frame of this game, right? Sure, we've heard of each other before, but we never met like prior to that, right? And it's funny because like just from in talking with them, those are the type of guys like I have a beer with. Like, so like they're cool on that level. Like outside of just gaming shit, cool guys in general, right? But we kind of unintentionally developed this identity as the hater trinity, and we took it and ran with it for fun to some extent. But in reality, we never were really hating on the franchise, and I think that that's become more evident now as we kind of go through some of these different tweets and seeing how people feel about the definitive edition and what it means for Mortal Kombat 1. So the first thing that I want to talk about is that we were never hating on the game. Like, we were stating our honest opinions about where we felt that the game was at, where we felt the communication was, and where we felt that the franchise should be in comparison to what happened with the Mortal Kombat 1 release. And this kind of takes me back to the issue that me and Sonic Fox had because I think he talked about crowdfunding or something like that in one of his tweets in regards to like tournament stuff. And I replied that, bro, that ship is sailed and gone. And then he went on the whole thing about, every time he sees my content, it's glooming and dooming when it comes to Mortal Kombat 1, which was just bullshit. And so my point is, I think with where we're at right now, it's obvious that the quote-unquote hater trinity was right. But I'm not saying that's like brag or boast. What it made me think about was the contrast between the way Mortal Kombat 1 has been received and the way that Tekken 8 has been received. Now, I want to elaborate upon that, but first I want to go through some tweets of the community and just see what they're saying in regards to the definitive edition and how some people feel. So we have the big IGN account. The release of the Mortal Kombat 1 Definitive Edition has sparked significant concern that NetherRealm has now moved on from the game and is getting backlash because of it. Let's check out this clip here. I want to put on my headphones right quick. I think this is Ed Boon talking about years of support. Let me see what he has to say. Let's unmute that. Let's rewind it back, unmute that, and see what Ed said. This is back when he was promoting the game prior to release and talking about years of content. This is going around all the time, and we got very excited about this. Let's see what he has to say.
When we launched Mortal Kombat 1, that we were going to be doing for years of content. So this is year 2, right? For years
of content. So somebody's trolling the clip a little bit, but essentially what Ed Boon said was, so actually that wasn't prior to release. This was him talking about year 2 going into Chaos Reigns and saying that they had years of content. So what I believe that happened is that they had a vision planned, and when Chaos Reigns flopped, that pretty much hurt that vision and WB pulled the plug. I think we can all surmise that at this point. And what time frame it was done, it's hard to say, but pretty much, even though we're getting this announcement now for the definitive edition, I'm sure this decision was made months ago because they had to put together that packaging and that promo to release this now. So they've known this for a while, that this was going to be done. But let's keep going on with the community. I have Dreamy here. Very disappointed on how it just suddenly ended like that. We still don't have confirmation, but the definitive edition is clearly showing us this is the end for content. I don't know if we are still getting balance changes or not, or the skins for Melina, Katana, and Tanya. Let's keep going. The homie Syndicus, fellow Liu Kang player, if I'm not mistaken. With how bad Chaos Reigns did, I'm not surprised that the game isn't getting any more support. MK1 has been messy from the start. NRS probably had plans to support the game for a long time, but the feedback of this game has been so bad despite being top 20 games downloaded or whatever. And I think that just comes off a reputation. Like a lot of the times we would see Ed Boon talking about this is our most played game, we're still getting this amount of sales and blah, 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 blah. But some of that is just good faith based on the franchise itself and the reputation that it has, especially coming off the success of Mortal Kombat 11. Let's keep going. The fourth snake. The absence of Havoc or Noob on this cover is telling. I think he's implying the fact that Chaos Reigns flopped, so now they want us to focus on the initial launch that did well and promote those characters because those are cornerstone characters with Liu Kang, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion, and then you have the guest characters down here for the people who are just casuals and want to see guest characters in the game. Let's keep going. If we don't get a Combat Pack 3, MK1 will end up with even less original DLC characters than MK11. Let's see who they have compared here. We have Quan Chi, Ermac, Takeda, Sector, Cyrax, and Noob. What do they mean by even less original DLC? When they say original, what do they mean by original DLC? I'm so lost. I'm not sure what they're trying to imply, and I don't feel like reading through the replies because there's 50 of them, and that's not the point of this video. And we have Shane, Nightwolf, Sindel, Fujin, Shiva. Oh, I think they're just saying the amount because it's 7 characters in the top picture. Yeah, 7 characters in the top picture, 6 in the bottom. So that's what they're applying. And then if you really want to be technical, you could say that Sector and Cyrax aren't even who they're supposed to be because they gender swapped them. So in reality, that makes it feel like 4 characters versus 7 because of the fact that Sector and Cyrax isn't really the Sector and Cyrax we know, right? Even Noob Saibot, though he has like the chaos, the rage, the shit from Havoc or whatever, even he still is technically Noob Saibot. Ermac was fun to bring back. Quan Chi was fun to bring back. And Takeda, I was excited about his aesthetic, but I never actually got around to playing him. And I think that's less about Takeda and more about how I felt about the game, right? Okay, so before I get into my comparison about Tekken 8 and Mortal Kombat 1 and the point of what I wanted to say in this video, I wanted to read this tweet by Mike because I actually saw this just a little bit ago, and I knew I was going to make this video earlier as I started to see the tweets pile up, but then I saw this one from Mike and I wanted to include this in the video. So, and the reason for saying this is because obviously me, Mike, and Tom Brady have had conversations in this ballpark and we've all been attacked for it, being called haters, gloom and doomers, etc. So I wanted to see what Mike has to say in regards to this tweet. So let me read it right quick. It says, regarding Mortal Kombat 1's timely demise, Cope has never been more appropriately used to describe the people that thought this game was going to surpass MK11 or MKX since the game's release. I made the case that this Mortal Kombat game simply couldn't reach the heights of its predecessors, and I gave logical reason after logical reason, and for years, someone with shit in their eyes would always have the most asinine retort. To be clear, it's okay to like something that many don't, but it's a lot of pretend like everything is fine and dandy. Oh, you're just dooming. That was placed on all of us, right? Oh, you're just dooming. Just became a dumbass's interesting way of not calling me a liar, and so here we are. The definitive edition is on our doorstep, which means the final rights have been read to this joke of a game, and it is time to leave this in the Shadowlands where it belongs. Mortal Kombat 1 had one of the most embarrassing and disappointing launches to any major franchise I've ever seen. That's undeniable. Even though we had a lot of fun the first 3 weeks, it was a lot of malarkey going on. Not just fighting games, and it never truly recovered. Please pretend like this timeline never happened and a road to forgiveness can begin to be forged. Move forward with this timeline and prepare to be cooked. That's another part of mine. I'll mention that in a second. Is Mortal Kombat a dead franchise? No chance. One game can't undo the years of love people have for the franchise, but did it do insane damage to his reputation? You bet your ass it did. There's time to walk it back, but if you make this mistake again, you might not be so lucky with your core base. Was it NRS's fault? Was it WB's fault? Who truly knows and who actually truly cares? We're the consumer. What matters is the final product. We can only review what we see with our eyes, and what I saw was trash regardless of who served it to me. I'm not running defense for a massive studio or corporation. Please pack those talking points in. Good luck selling the definitive edition too. Look at the price tag on that sucker. Please buy all the slot rolled into one and run at a premium rate. And even when I said this, I was shocked because you see they have this on here for $104 for $105. But when I went and looked at it last night, on the website in my previous video, it said 60. So I'm not really sure what the ultimate price is for everything. I believe I saw one price say 70. I believe I saw 60 on the Switch, and I'm seeing 104.95 here. But to me, what this just represents is like one final swing at a nasty cash grab. And even in that being said, you know, the definitive edition gives us cause to believe that the game is pretty much done. I think that's undeniable, right? But even in trying to sell that last little bit of slop for $105 or $70 or $60, whatever the going rate is, that's still kind of nasty to me in itself. And it made me think about the difference between Tekken 8 and Mortal Kombat 1 content creators, because a lot of the terminology you've been hearing thrown around is this person's a shield, this person's a hater, a lot of that. Well, this is something that I think we all can learn as a community, as the Mortal Kombat community. This is a lesson in why being a shield does not work. Let me elaborate. So the way that I want to elaborate on that is I want to take it back to that issue that me and Sonic had, right? Because pretty much in a nutshell, I was saying the game was not in a good place and he was talking about crowdfunding. Now, the reason I'm highlighting this particular incident is because, for one, it's probably the biggest name in the community. So like when we had that scenario, it drew a lot of attention from both sides. For those who agree with me and those who agree with him or calling me a hater, it drew a lot of attention. But the point is, at the end of the day, me and Sonic would have the same goal in the fact that we want the Mortal Kombat franchise to be successful. His could be for competitive purposes and enjoying the game that he loves. Mine will be for content creation purposes and enjoying the game that I love. But the issue is when we don't tell the truth, or we shield, and I'm not calling him a shield. I'm not calling anybody else a shield. What I'm saying is that when we don't be objectively honest, we put ourselves in a bad spot because they continue to serve us nonsense. Now, in this scenario, since Chaos Reigns flopped, they had to pretty much pull the plug. Now, compare that to the reputation that Tekken 8 has received in Season 2. They added all these moves, added all this plus frame stuff, added all this insane tracking, and made the game extremely offensive, probably for like casual viewing purposes and casual players to enjoy. But what happened was they received so much backlash, they tried to give us a bullshit patch with Tekken, and that received even more backlash. And you know what? In the most recent patch, they finally started to go the right direction. And I'm not saying that the game is perfect, but the game has time to evolve. And on top of that, it had a decent enough launch where people had some faith. But when we kind of had to put our foot down and say, hey, this isn't Tekken, this is bullshit, you guys are lying, you guys aren't giving us what you promised, you guys are kind of moving away from the core mechanics of what the game is supposed to be to some expectancy, what you saw is that the dev started to apologize. They even went as far as either firing their dev team or restructuring it back to the classic team that made the previous games that had a much better reception. So think about this. If Mortal Kombat 1 launched in the state that it did, and people just stuck to their guns and told the truth about what they felt instead of trying to keep their relationships, instead of trying to keep their contacts in regards to being in some form of the industry or having maybe backdoor channels where they get early access to things, maybe we don't end up in this spot. The truth is, Mortal Kombat 1 was doomed from the start because of cameos. That's just not true Mortal Kombat. Let's call it, let's call a spade, right? But what made it worse is that while the gameplay has some enjoyable aspects, overall, it's not a true Mortal Kombat title. It never felt like Mortal Kombat. It doesn't present like Mortal Kombat. The brutalities aren't gory enough to be Mortal Kombat. The detail in Mortal Kombat 11 seemed to be much more significant than the detail in Mortal Kombat 1. The universe didn't have the proper feel. All these different things, and some people could debate that. Some people could enjoy the new art style. Some people could love the old art style like me. But the point was, there were definitely a lot of red flags and a lot of holes in the game overall. And we had certain people who were large enough that simply didn't want to say that. Tom Brady would call them toxic positive. Now, I got to a point where I didn't really because the thing is, I didn't have fun bashing Mortal Kombat 1. I didn't have fun bashing it. I enjoyed it a lot when it first came out, but that's because I expected more. And as I got more time with the game, I started realizing man, it's a lot of things that's missing. It's a lot of limitation with some of these cameos. It's a lot of characters that aren't simply that fun that I have no desire to play. In Mortal Kombat 11, I played 36 out of the 37 characters. The only one I didn't play was Setrion, and that's because I hate Setrion in general, just her whole design, right? In Mortal Kombat 1, I didn't get past wanting to play 6 characters because the excitement or the motivation wasn't there. Now, think about all these people we had that were quote-unquote shilling. I'm not calling them shills, but for the people that you perceive to be shills, let's just say that they were shilling. Let's just say it for, the point of conversation. If all those people start objectively telling the truth about the game, maybe we get the same result and reaction that Tekken 8 does. Now, granted, it can never really fully be that way because the cameos, they banked their whole entire foundation on the cameos, which was a terrible idea. But if it wasn't for cameos, or even if we could have just pushed it towards 2v2, if everybody just stuck to their guns about what they really felt early on, way before Chaos Reigns comes out, maybe we get a better product. You know what I'm saying? But the issue is that the difference in between Tekken and Mortal Kombat 1 is Tekken created a problem that was fixable if they just listen to the community. Mortal Kombat 1 created a problem that was really never going to be fixable. So it got to a point of, do you enjoy the game and communication versus all the things that seem to be missing, right? Because some people do enjoy Mortal Kombat 1, but the reality is it didn't sell close to what it should have. And the reason being is because on top of the bad launch, the communication was just poor. And then the people who would have a loud enough voice or have a loud enough influence to really be honest, they chose not to protect their relationships. In Tekken 8, we've seen certain guys lose commentary opportunities, like Rip for being critical of the game. We saw the same thing with Spag. We saw some top players even get blocked, like Arsenal Ash did, but then Harada cleared that up. But pretty much what I love about the Tekken community and what I've enjoyed about becoming a part of it and playing the game and really diving into it is that they really do stick to their guns when it comes to what the franchise should be and what it's classically been. The problem with Mortal Kombat is the big names and the loud voices don't do that because of relationships, and then combined with the fact that Mortal Kombat doesn't really know their true identity. Like even right now, part of the reason I'm kind of glad that this game, like there's this weird bittersweet feeling because I don't want to see Mortal Kombat do poorly, but I think that sometimes you need the right amount of humble pie to kind of go back to the drawing board and come back with some passion. It's kind of like taking a loss in real life. Like when you take a loss in real life as a man, as a woman, this could be a relationship, this could be financial, this could be losing your job, having to start over within your career. Sometimes when you just get punched in the mouth really, really hard, you find the inner spirit to like wake up and fight back, you know what I'm saying? And I think based on the success of Mortal Kombat X and based on the success of Mortal Kombat 11, even those games with their shortcomings and sometimes lack of communication, which definitely happened in Mortal Kombat 11, sometimes the success of those games kind of protected the NRS or the WB or whoever you want to blame, Ed Boon, Stephanie, Tyler. It protected those people from the real backlash of what's going on. Nothing is louder than not supporting with your money. And because we didn't support Chaos Reigns with our money, they have to come back with a great game. In fact, there was a time when I said that I thought Injustice 3 would be the next game because Mortal Kombat needs a break. Now I've kind of changed my opinion on that. I think this humble pie gives them every incentive to come back with the best Mortal Kombat game they've ever made. I would like for it to be Mortal Kombat 12. I think when it comes to Mortal Kombat 2, we should act as if Mortal Kombat 1 never existed because the reality is it's clear it was never supposed to be Mortal Kombat 1. I'm not going to be naive and think that they don't want to make a good game. I think they got put in a pinch and chose the money over the fans. That's what I think happened. Now, whether that's WB, whether that's NRS, whoever you want to blame for that, whether it was a time crunch, whatever it was, this was not Mortal Kombat 1. This was Injustice 3 or it was something else. I'm going to assume Injustice 3 because, like in hero games, Batman and Robin, even other heroes just in general in comic books, like there's always a sidekick. There's something like that, you know what I'm saying? Wolverine and the X-Men, etc. So I think, and granted, that's not a Marvel game, but I'm just talking about like heroes in general. There's usually like a sidekick aspect. You're not going to convince me that that's not what Injustice 3 was supposed to be. A main character with a side character, maybe even a tag game. But I think that this bit of humble pie, it forces them to make a great game. And I kind of hope that Mortal Kombat is the next game because, in my opinion, we haven't really got another Mortal Kombat since Mortal Kombat 11 because Mortal Kombat 1 just simply isn't Mortal Kombat to me. So the whole idea of, we're not going to get the next game to after Injustice 3, so maybe we don't get Mortal Kombat 12 to either 2030 or 2031, I think that's out the door now. I think you should prioritize Mortal Kombat, put it back in its proper place, and make a great game. I don't want this video to be super long, but my overall point when I thought about this is just imagine what could be going forward if we just be honest. If we be honest and be objective and we be truthful about what we're really feeling, instead of like saying little weird statements like, well, no, the game is great, but if they just change this one thing. No, it was a lot more than one thing. And a lot of top creators said that. And I don't like to stir up drama, so I'm not going to name any names, but you guys know, you guys watch creators in the Mortal Kombat space. You know who was kind of shilling and who wasn't. And I don't want to say that they were all consciously shilling, but some people were simply shilling, and we know that that's true, right? And so the thing is, if we can be objective from this point going forward, maybe we get the proper representation of our voices the same way that they did with Tekken 8. Because pretty much what I've learned about being in the Tekken 8 community or just the Tekken community for the past year and some change, they stand on their opinions, and they stand on their opinions loudly. They stand on their opinions to the point that when Harada responds, if he doesn't seem like he's understanding what the fans are saying, they'll push back. Now, some go too far, some go overboard, and I'm sure that's frustrating for the dev team, but at the end of the day, the product that I paid $100 for, I want it to be great. And it seems like with the Tekken community, including the top creators, including even some of the ones who lose their commentary opportunities and stuff like that, when they be honest, it helps the game get better. It helps the game go in the right direction. Now, obviously, there's a lot of time left with Tekken 8, but the last patch shows at least they can hear us. They hear us loud and clearly. They can see that people won't play the game and they will step away and boycott the game if their needs aren't met. Mortal Kombat franchise doesn't know what that feels like. This is the first time they've ever felt that shame. You know what I'm saying? Like Street Fighter 6, kicking ass totally. Tekken 8, kicking ass, took some backlash and starting to get it back right. I can expect the game to pretty much be as successful as Tekken 7, if not more, because it's going to be around for years. And on top of that, they're going to keep balancing things in the right direction. Mortal Kombat 1 had to really eat some humble pie. And I really hope that they learned a lesson as the dev team, NWB. And I hope that we as a community really learned a lesson here. Like, honesty matters. Being objective and being truthful matters, because in the end, it gives everybody a great result. Your individual relationship and professional relationships with some of these, like with Ed Boon and the dev team and all that stuff. While I can understand the value in that because I used to want one myself, is not more important than the overall community. Yeah, it may put some money in your pocket. Yeah, it may give you some extra some early access perks. But if it doesn't result in a great game, what is it worth? If the next 2 or 3 games are trash and you kept your perks and your relationships, what is it fucking worth? As a content creator, I expected Mortal Kombat, because of how well Mortal Kombat 11 did on this channel, I expected the next Mortal Kombat to propel the channel even farther. And that could be a selfish aspiration of mine to some extent, which I'll be honest about, but that's part of the excitement of loving the franchise. I never ever imagined a time where the next game would be so bad that I just stopped playing it completely. Like yesterday, I uploaded a Liu Kang video. Like the definitive edition trailer kind of got me excited to play Liu Kang because I saw the movie skins and the Bruce Lee skin, and I had a little bit of fun playing. But prior to that, I had released a Mortal Kombat gameplay video in like 8 weeks or so. All of my content has been Tekken. I play Tekken every single day. It was fun to play Mortal Kombat yesterday, but part of that fun was because I took a break from it. That's not how games are supposed to operate. Games are supposed to stay consistently fun. Even when I used to get tilted by Mortal Kombat 11, I still played it on a daily basis or every other day, like I'm doing with Tekken right now. So I think the biggest lesson that we need to learn as a community, and this includes the bigger creators, the ones who are larger than me, the ones who have significant more influence than me, that have a farther reaching voice than me. Be honest within your content. I can understand wanting to protect relationships. I'm not telling you to blast on a game or just shit on the game completely, but be honest. You can be honest in a polite way. You don't have to be one of these toxic people on Twitter who scream and curse at dev teams and say disrespectful stuff. You can be honest and be like, hey, this game is lacking. You can like the gameplay and be honest about everything else, but trying to tell us just wait is going to get better, we all could kind of see it was never going to get better, and the main people that got branded as haters for that were me, Tom Brady, and Mike. And it's kind of funny because I didn't know them before we start talking about this game, but I get along with them all. But we don't have some secret mission to speak negative about this franchise and watch it do poorly. We all want it to do well, but I think we're just all of that age range where we don't really give as much of a fuck about what people say about us. Maybe that's just like an older age thing because we have different responsibilities that younger people may not have. So like those relationships and that image matters to them. We just don't seem to really give it as much of a shit. So it helps us be a little more honest in what we feel, and plus we don't have professional relationships. I think that overall, all of us being honest, it helps the lifetime of the game. And if you didn't believe that before, there's no way you can't believe it now, because Mortal Kombat 1 is done. Definitive Edition is here. We're not getting any more DLC. We might get a balance patch or two. Of course, online tournaments and all that stuff is still run. Like, a community will keep a game alive as far as playing, but deep down, we're all waiting for the next game. And we're hoping that it's Mortal Kombat and that it's not Injustice. And we're hoping that it's based in the Mortal Kombat 11 universe. And we're hoping that it's one-on-one. And we're hoping that the characters go back to who they're originally supposed to be. I don't want Raiden to be the Earthrealm's champion. I don't want Liu Kang to be the god of the realm who created the universe. Let's get back to true classic Mortal Kombat in regards to skills of the characters, moves of the characters, their kits, in regards to feel of the universe, in regards to fatalities, brutalities, babalities, animalities, friendships. Bring all of that content back. Give us content on the side like the Crip, Motor Combat, Chess Combat. Give us more customization in regards to how our skins look. Not just skins, pieces. Maybe even up it 4, 5, or 6 pieces of gear. Like, give us things to do so that the game survives for 5, 6, 7 years. Like, Mortal Kombat has enough cachet to survive that long. You see that Tekken is surviving that long. You see that Street Fighter is surviving that long. There's no reason Mortal Kombat should be going in these 2 to 3 year cycles where the support stops because of whatever the case may be. I don't know if that's like trying to make money with the next game or feeling like that, you don't have enough when it comes to this game. But whatever it is, Mortal Kombat should be right there in the upper echelon of doing things properly and lasting for a long time like Tekken and Street Fighter will. So I think that while I am kind of sad to see Mortal Kombat get shit on in this way, I'm not really disappointed to see this game just go. Like, as far as I'm concerned, Mortal Kombat 1 never existed, and hopefully the next game is Mortal Kombat 12. And with that being said, now that you guys can kind of stop this whole thing about me, Mike, and Tom Brady being the hater trinity, because clearly we were right, and I'm not using this video as a gotcha, but clearly we were right. The point is, as a collective, we should be more honest going forward so we get a better product. I know some of you guys will find a way to disagree with me in the comments. It always happens. But for those of you who understand where I'm coming from, we all want to see the franchise do well, but it can't do well if we don't tell them the truth. And if you need a better example to see that, just look at what's happened with Tekken 8's recent patch. They tried to make the game one way and go away from what Tekken was, and they got so much backlash, it forced them, bullied them into making a better product, and it's going to get better over time because they see the fans aren't going to bite their tongue and the larger creators aren't going to bite their tongue either. They're going to get bullied into doing the right thing. I don't want to use the term bully because that's not the best word I can find, but at the end of the day, all that matters is I spent my $100, $60, $70, whatever edition you got. Maybe you even spent a couple $100 because you got it on multiple platforms. You got it on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. So some of you guys are spending close to $200 on a game. You don't want that $200 to matter? Be honest in your opinions about things that you see. Don't just shill when it comes to your favorite franchise because they have to be held accountable just like every other place has to be held accountable, right? So with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this video up. I do look forward to the next Mortal Kombat. I genuinely hope that it's Mortal Kombat 12. I genuinely hope that all the characters go back to who their true identities are, and I hope that it's 1v1, and I hope that it's the next game, and I hope that it's announced within the next year. Till the next time, it's your boy, The Streets. I'm out. Peace.